Goldberg, 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 Goldberg. Shouldn't have worked a main event match that went nearly 15 goddamn minutes because Goldberg was exposed in any match that went any length of time, even with his incredible charisma. But Goldberg, I'm John Renton with the Retro Review WWE Backlash 2003, coming off of WrestleMania 19. Depending on what you believe, if you're like me, and I know I am, you consider that one of the greatest WrestleManias of all time. Some consider it the greatest WrestleMania of all time. What's your favorite WrestleMania of all time? Answers in the comments, please. What do you think of this particular event? Because, boy, 2003 WWE was kind of rough. SmackDown had a few decent things going on, but really started to get messy. And then the whole reign of terror with Triple H. And even when Goldberg won the championship in the fall, he didn't win at SummerSlam. He won it the next month and was relegated to basically being a secondary character. So yeah, Worcester, Massachusetts. It was the best of time. It was the Worcestershire of times. Worcester Coliseum, 10,000 fans. I imagine that was probably pretty close to a sellout. And even because with the obstructed seats and staging, factored in, that's probably all they could fit because the capacity, depending on the particular event, basketball, hockey, between 12,000 and about 15,000 people. So I missed the unique pay-per-view sets. It's had around just under 350,000 pay-per-view buys. Coming off of WrestleMania, pretty impressive. Though, I gotta be honest, they probably expected more of a boost from Goldberg. And they really didn't get it. Things were going to start heading downhill in 2003. So anyway, a dual brand pay-per-view. We had a couple SmackDown matches, a couple Raw matches, and had a bunch of bullshit going on with Tess, Stacy, Tori, and Sable. Oh boy, we still might beating apathy. Speaking of apathy, the fans were filled with apathy with the Heat match. Scott Steiner, who had feuded with Triple H in late 2002 into the Royal Rumble 2003, it was not good because he had some kind of foot injury issue. I don't remember what it was. And then No Way Out 2003. By that point, they were turning on him. He wasn't even on the WrestleMania 19 card, and he faced Rico in the Heat match. And then got involved in a feud with Test, and then teamed with Test, and they abused Stacy. What did Stacy Keibler do to deserve that? I don't know. King and Coach call Raw, Cole and Taz call SmackDown. Why was JR not there? Because of the aftermath of Stone Cold Steve Austin, being, retiring after Mania 19, and good old JR Jim Ross being one of Steve Austin's best friends. They did a whole thing with Bischoff and them, I believe Bischoff getting rid of them, and then Austin would come back, and he'd be the GM on occasion, and then it just got really weird. Team Angle, Shelton and Charlie Haas, well, Shelton Benjamin and Charlie Haas, Shelton looking exactly the same here as he does now. It's frightening, very, very frightening. Taking on Los Guerreros, Eddie, and unfortunately Chavo. Unfortunately, Chavo is his new name now, because he loves to dishonor the Guerrero name. He doesn't deserve the Guerrero name. It's a WWE Tag Team Championship match, SmackDown action. As expected, it was well wrestled. Chavo got some shots in, then got targeted. Eddie eventually got the hot tag. This did go a bit long. This felt like it could have ended a couple minutes sooner. The near falls were close, and the fans were starting to boo because it seemed like the kickouts were a little bit mistimed. And then eventually, Chavo tries to do a belly-to-back suplex. Shelton trips Chavo, gets the foot held down, 1, 2, 3, while the referee doesn't see. So Team Angle retains. Now, Kurt Angle was off due to neck surgery. He would be back very soon after. He got the less invasive surgery and then kept breaking his neck because, when you don't address that stuff and you keep trying to come back too soon, They did have a portrait of Kurt Angle and also his gold medals, and Eddie was so incensed, he decided to throw them into the picture, knock them down. And then Chavo and Eddie steal the tag team championships. They go backstage to a lowrider, a beautiful lowrider. And when they hit the horn, it plays La Cucaracha. I mean, I guess it's all right because they were there. I don't know, that didn't seem all that great. And Michael Hayes booked this shit. And then we have Tori. Well, this camera is like a voyeur camera. It's like shooting. And it's like if somebody were shooting, say, behind the TV and they were shooting ahead. And they were just capturing this as like, oh, this is really hot stuff. We got to do this and this. Why they're holding a telescope or a giant little, I don't know. I don't know why they're doing that. But Tess is like, well, your Playboy enticed me, so it's your fault for dressing like that. He might as well have. Tori said, what part of no don't you understand? Why did they make Tess a complete creep? Was this payback for the fact that him and Stacy did not leave their home and missed out on the chance to be at No Way Out 2003 when Tess seemed like he was getting a decent push and would have had probably a halfway decent program with Jericho after the match with Shawn Michaels and Jericho occurred at Mania 19, possibly because Tess was not on the pay-per-view for Mania 19. I don't believe he was. And he was relegated to backstage stuff here. And then he got a neck injury in late 2003, early 2004, and then was fired while recovering from neck surgery. Yay! So yeah, he basically verbally and then almost physically assaults Tori. Kisses her. She tries to slap him. Oh, you like it rough. Why was Tess a creep? It's such good shit, pal. Ha ha. Tori's like that paralegal I'm going to end up having. Because Vince apparently was a prophet. So, Sable sees all of this. I've never been a fan of Sable. I'm just going to say that right now. In her return in 2003 after suing WWE for sexual harassment and a lot of millions. Okay, whatever. I mean, her and Brock ended up hooking up. And that got Sable off the television, so that was a good thing, but... And then this is shortly after the La Cucaracha plays, Piper's music plays. And if you know anything about Roddy Piper, La Cucaracha ties into something that he did earlier in his career. When he was in the LA territory, when it was on his ass, he had beaten up Chavo Guerrero, well, Sr. Well, now Chavo Guerrero, well, later Chavo Guerrero Sr. He's the only Chavo Guerrero at the time. And he beat him up and says, I'm so sorry. And because it's such a heavy Hispanic population, I will learn to play the Mexican national anthem on the gaita, the bagpipes, or however it was said. And he comes out next week, please rise, and then starts playing La Cucaracha, which is about a Mexican cockroach. Here come the chairs that were bolted down. Whoosh, night never got started. Piper survived that. Bold. Man, this pay-per-view is rough to watch, especially since Piper could not move. I think he had some kind of auto accident. It was either motorcycle or car. And that's why he seemed pretty out of shape at Mania 19. I'm not knocking. Everybody ages and nobody can stay in the best shape like forever. But Piper was in really rough shape physically as far as stuff that had happened to him and everything. He had a bucket of coconuts. There they are, dancing in a row or standing in a row. He introduces Sean O'Hare, who's doing the devil's advocate gimmick, and it was great as long as he did backstage stuff that was pre-taped. If he had to do it live, he couldn't. Sean O'Hare had a great look, and he faced Rikishi here. The stuff with O'Hare did not work. Piper, I think, was released soon after Judgment Day 2003, the next month, because an HBO Real Sports interview came out where he was basically saying WWE uses up people and then just throws them away, which he's not wrong, but it was an older interview. I think it was done before, it was obviously done before he returned to WWE. But then he was released. O'Hare wasn't really getting over all that much anyway. Piper tried to use the coconut. This was after O'Hare did the smart thing with the stink face, and nobody ever thought to do this before. Push off with the feet and shove Rikishi on his big posterior. Why did nobody think of doing that before? So Rikishi hits Piper with the coconut, and then gets hit with the reverse Death Valley Driver, whatever the hell that move is. 1, 2, 3. They also dubbed over Waterproof Blondes Come On for O'Hare's intro. So yeah, O'Hare wins, and then Sable basically says to Stacy, hey, Tori put the moves on your guy. It's weird how Sable and Tori would have a bit of a feud. Sable would feud with Stephanie. A-Train would attack Stephanie. Taker would come out and attack A-Train. They would set up that match for, I believe, SummerSlam. I want to say Stephanie and Sable had some kind of interaction there too. I don't remember. But then Tori and Sable would end up pairing up. I don't think they knew what the hell they were doing with the women, or they knew exactly what they were doing. Tori got booked in a lot of weird shit. So, RVD is worried about Chief Morley as ref, and Kane says, let's just go kick all their asses. Let's take down the Dudleys with us. Okay. Dudleys, Devon, and Bubba Ray against RVD and Kane, with Chief Morley as the special guest referee. If Chief Morley is a name that doesn't seem familiar, Val Venus. This is when they tried to rebrand and make him serious, before he became a serious brain parasite, rather possessing moron. Because anybody that thinks like Val Venus or Sean Morley or whatever the fuck his actual name is, doesn't matter. He's an idiot. World Tag Title match, and this is all about would the Dudleys do the bidding of the Bischoff administration. Bubba wanted to keep his job. Devon said, fuck it. Because unlikely tag partners, or tag partners that are at war with each other, that storyline always works. Always works. So, Morley low blows Kane. Bubba gets a 2 count. Morley accidentally hits Bubba. Devon gets pissed. And then we get a 3D to Sean Morley. Or Chief Morley, as it were. And then we get a choke slam. We get the 5-star frog splash. 1, 2, 3. More of a storyline match. Fine, I guess. Except Morley had about as much heat as a dead oven. Stacy and Tori then get in a cat fight. There was Ivory in a towel, so that was nice. It took me a bit to recognize that was Ivory. I thought it was Gail Kim at first, but then I realized Gail Kim I don't think had debuted yet. So, yeah, they were trying to separate them because you got to keep them separated. Hey. God, the women's division has come a whole lot further since then, or farther. Teddy Long then praises Jazz. She says the bitch is black and the bitch is... Wait, no, the bitch is back and the bitch is flat and black. Black, that's it. That's what she said. I actually was struggling to remember that because Teddy talks vindication. Then Trish takes on Jazz, where it's for the women's championship. Jazz had hit a face plant onto Trish onto a table. So Trish had bad ribs. Look, Jazz was good in the ring. Jazz was also made of glass. It seemed like for as great as she looked, and as well as she could move, she would get often injured. It plagued her career, or at least her mainstream career, quite a bit. Because once the injury bug usually bites, it doesn't let go, like the Scarab from Kronos. There's a deep cut for you. Should I retro review Kronos? Answers in the comments, please. So, there's an exposed buckle spot, or tease, and then Teddy decides to do some distractions, and then Trish gets caught in a single leg Boston Crab. Does eventually get the Stratisfaction. And then who throws a shoe? Apparently Teddy Long. So Austin Powers didn't know the answer to that. And then we get reversals, and we get a catch where Jazz drops down, gets the ropes, holds him, ref doesn't see it, 1, 2, 3, new champ. Trish would beat Jazz soon after this to win the title, I swear. I don't think Jazz held the title for very long, because I know that Trish and Victoria had a street fight. If it wasn't before this pay-per-view, I think it was before Judgment Day. I think it was. So anyway, Booker and Shawn talk strategy. Nash says, you don't got to worry about me. Just leave Triple H for me. He's mine. Then Ray took on Big Show in a David versus Goliath match. It is only memorable for the fact that after Ray got beat, he got put on a stretcher. Big Show comes out and swings a stretcher with Ray on it, which Ray, whether he's 170, 180 at this point or not, that's still a full-grown human being with a stretcher that another man is picking up and swinging. And he swings it into the post and then drops Ray face first. And it's a wonder if Ray didn't have a massive concussion after that, because Big Show at this point was a careless prick. And then we got a stretcher match at Judgment Day where Big Show got lifted on a forklift. I'm starting to think that Big Show's career would have been more remarkable if A, he had a better attitude early on, and B, had not been flip-flopped from face to heel, and there again. But then we get Triple H, Flair, and Jericho talking. And they talk about the six-man tag. Lillian thinks it's her cue to leave, and it's not. And they say, yeah, don't interrupt. Don't cut me off. I'll tell you when I'm done. More talking of women. I will tell you when I'm done, woman. Steiner is then carrying Stacy away, and then Tess wonders what's going on. Steiner says she should ask you the same question. And then he leaves Stacy while injured with her abusive boyfriend. What the hell's going on? Tess yells at Stacy. Cena then basically says he will be a better champion than Bruno Sammartino when Cena was doing his rap stuff, his freestyle rapping. And I'm like the Iron Sheik, I got you in my camel clutches. I'm wearing this Yankees jersey because Massachusetts sucks. The crowd starts saying, Yankees suck, Yankees suck. He's trying to heal up on him as much as he can because he did grow up in West Newbury, Massachusetts. And that apparently is near Worcester. I have only been to Boston and the environs, a couple of the surrounding areas. I don't remember how close Worcester is to West Newbury. So nevertheless, Boston's a great city. A lot of great stuff there. Heavy Italian influence. Nevertheless. So it's Cena versus D. Bork Laser. When Bork was in his first run in WWE for the WWE Championship, things picked up, as the kids say. Business picked up, as JR says. By God. English, by God, is eluding me. Can Cena hang with Bork? Well, at first, Bork was tossing him around. He also had a bandage over his on his forehead because he had been busted open previously by Cena using the chain gang. He's a bad man. Boy, remember that rap album? That was certainly something that existed. So Cena ends up posting Bork hurting Bork at one point where he's bleeding. So he's bleeding a lot. He grounds him, does a rear naked choke. Does some good stuff. We get boos for Brock because, again, as much as Cena tried to heal, he was getting some cheers because he's in his home state. And Cena winning him over here, going for the victory. We get a ref bump. We get a bad corner bump. I thought we were getting a ref bump. We got a ref bump a little bit later on. I mixed up my matches. Yeah, Cena was supposed to hit flat in the corner, but hit where his head almost snapped from the second turnbuckle into the top turnbuckle. It was really bad. Fortunately, he's all right. That was really bad. But then he tries to use the chain. It got stopped, and then F5, 1, 2, 3. I would argue this is one of their better matches, one of their forgotten matches. This is pretty good. Video package on the six-man main event. The entrances took about 10 years, and that was just from Triple H milking it, Flair not being able to move fast, and Nash wanting to walk slow, which makes sense. So Nash, Booker, and Shawn took on Triple H, Flair, and Jericho. Okay, first off, Nash's first match back since his torn quad. His torn quad that he suffered when he was ready to go in that tag match, was it April or May, where... That's such a... I felt so bad. I think it was May. I think it was like early May. Anyway, big fight feel. The crowd was into it. There was some star power here. Even though you could argue Booker could have been world champion at this point, should have been world champion. There's a what if I could do at some point. Haven't done what if videos since the beginning of the year. And yes, little sidebar, I recognize that people have sent me stuff about, various, they sent me various what if scenarios in the comments on those videos. I will get to them if I can. I will do what I can with them, but I have so many things that I'm doing, movie reviews, and especially working, that I just literally slammed a whole bunch of those together when I had some free time late last year, early this year. So, yeah, Booker should have been world champion. I mean, yes, Booker's commentary now on NXT is abysmal, and Booker basically is a shell of what he once was, but with all the with the ways they built that goddamn storyline, and Booker T being treated like Triple H's boy, because that's practically what they said. That's how they worded it. That's how they treat him. All he had to do was win, and he didn't win. Because Triple H had a pedigree and took about 18 million years. He took longer than the Seattle Mariners have taken between division championships. And that's a long goddamn time, ladies and gentlemen. So, the crowd was into this. Nash got tagged. The crowd died. Really, they died. My God, they died. there was a decent flow after that, but then everybody just went all over. We got a ref bump, sledgehammer to Nash's head, and then Triple H covers when the ref gets back in 1, 2, 3. And then we would get Nash and Triple H at Judgment Day, and then we would get an announcer's table, jackknife, and then we would get the Hell in a Cell match between Nash and Triple H, with Foley as a special guest referee, because nobody cared about that feud, and they said, Foley, please come back, we will pay you money, we will let you do what you want to do, just please come back and help us, because we're too stupid to put the championship on somebody interesting, and give them interesting feuds. And Foley said, okay. So update on Ray. He be fucked. He be fucked for now. The crowd was already chanting Goldberg. Then we get a package on Rock and Goldberg. We get Dwayne's Rock Hard Johnson displayed all over this package. And Goldberg's jackhammer. Terry interviews Rock, and Rock says, The Rock is not all. The only thing Rock hasn't done is make a white baby. And then the funniest part of his promo, and I forgot it was this particular one. I thought it happened on Raw. But he said, The Rock hitting Goldberg in the head 8 times with a chair. Is that like King Kong hitting Godzilla? Cacao! Cacao! Because Rock is just so entertaining. So, cacao! This was Rock's, pretty much the end of Rock's full-time run. I mean, he would show up and he'd run up to WrestleMania 20 and then be done. And then they let his contract expire. It's like, okay, when his Hollywood career fails, he'll come back, and then we'll make sure to lowball him. And even though he had some mountains and valleys, guess what? His career has thrived, and then they were begging him to come back. Good job, Vince, you fucking paralegal banging idiot. So anyway, you're next, you whisker-headed, bald-headed bitch. Hollywood Rock entrance. The fans know he's gone. That's why The Rock got a lot of cheers. Goldberg initially got cheers. Pyro and all that. Goldberg and Rock. The crowd was chanting Goldberg. They were chanting for The Rock. And then the bell rang. And then every time Goldberg did something, they weren't popping. They were not popping at all. They were booing Goldberg. Why? Because Goldberg, explosive. He's explosive, and also, as long as he's able to do stuff and just wreck people, not that he's ever wrecked anybody in his career. God damn it. This match was what it was. Rock was selling the hell out of Goldberg's offense. He was stalling, then he would do stuff, then Goldberg would beat him down. Rock bottom by Goldberg, but then Goldberg missed the Rock with a spear, hit the post. He's favoring his arm. We get a low blow. The ref didn't see it. A spear, but the arm's hurt. He can't capitalize. Spear by Rock. Rock bottom for 2. Boos. People's elbow for 2. Boos. And then one spear. Oh my God! And then he composes himself, gets hit with a second spear and then a jackhammer. This match was about 14 to 15 minutes and really should have been 10. It should have been explosive. They should have tried to make it like DDP versus Goldberg that had a lot more action. This was just a lot, and I get it. Rock did a lot of comical acting and overselling to really make it seem like Goldberg was a beast, but eventually it just got to where it's ridiculous. That being said, Backlash 2003 wasn't very good. I mean, it had a few moments. The crowd was into some of it. Overall, the show was a mess. Forgot to mention, this is a 20-year anniversary of the show. That's why I'm posting it. Anyway, agree, disagree with what I said. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Ritlin. I'll see you soon.